I'm going to show you how to set up and use the Bluearc Genesis 200 LCD from Blue Demon. This is a TIG welding machine that's capable of AC TIG for welding aluminum, DC TIG for welding steel and stainless steel and other materials. It includes a pulsed feature and is also capable of shielded metal arc welding or stick welding. Now, the Genesis 200 LCD comes with just about everything that you need to get started with TIG welding or stick welding. Let's take a look at what comes in the box. There is, of course, the machine itself. We'll take a detailed look at the features and connections throughout the video. It has a CK Worldwide number 17 torch with their Superflex cable and a flexible head to get down into tight spots. It includes a variable amperage controller as a foot pedal and a work clamp with lead and DINS connector. Has a gas flow regulator and a hose to connect that up to the machine. The dual voltage adapter allows you to run on 115 or 230 volts. There's also an electrode holder and lead for stick welding, as well as a handy carry bag for your welding helmet. Let's go ahead and set up this machine for some TIG welding. I'll start off by connecting the torch to the negative lead as well as the gas connection. Once that's snugged up, I can insert the pedal connector right here, as you see, and secure with the ring. And while I'm at it, I'm going to turn the potentiometer on the pedal all the way to the max. This will let me reach the set amperage on the machine. I'll then connect the work clamp to the positive terminal and move around to the back side of the machine to connect the gas hose. With the gas hose connected over here, I can go and connect my regulator up to my gas cylinder and snug everything down there and attach the other end of the hose right here leading over to the machine. With this tight, I can turn on my gas cylinder and adjust my flow rate depending on my process and cup size. I can then connect it to either 230 volts or to 115 volts using the supplied adapter right here like this. Now we can set up the torch. Just insert the collet with the split to the front, followed by the collet body like so. Tighten that down and then add the cup over top. With these things in place, I can insert a tungsten electrode and then just tighten the back cap to secure it in place. Now that the machine is set up, let's take a look at the user interface and some of the settings that are available on this machine. So this is the front panel of the machine. It has an LCD screen which displays all your information, as well as two knobs which also serve as push buttons to cycle through different settings. Below each knob there's an additional button, one to cycle through some settings, and the other will take you to the home screen when you press it. Now here in the home screen you can select between your different welding processes using the knob on the left. You can also press the home screen button again and it will take you to some preset programs. Whichever one of these is selected when you set your machine, that will stay with that folder when you change it. You can also change the brightness of the screen and press the home one more time with an option for a factory reset. Now we'll go around and look at the different processes. There's a lift and high frequency version. With lift arc, when you press the pedal, nothing happens until you touch the electrode down. However, if you change over to high frequency TIG welding, and we're looking at AC here for aluminum, when you press the pedal, it initiates the arc right away. That's what we're going to use most of the time. So I'll select high frequency TIG AC. This is going to be good for welding aluminum. And then I'll cycle through by pressing the button, and you can see a yellow dot that appears and allows me to change my parameters. This is my pre-flow. I'll set it to half a second, press the button to move to my start current. I'm going to turn this all the way down as low as it will go to 10 amps because I'm going to be using a foot pedal to control things today. Also the upslope I'll turn all the way down so I can just use my foot pedal to control it throughout the whole process. Now here at peak, I'm setting my welding current. Now this is the maximum you can reach, and when I'm using the foot pedal, it will limit that down based on where my pedal is, but when the pedal's fully depressed, it'll be that. AC frequency adjusts how many times you switch between the positive and negative side of the cycle. At 60 Hertz, you get a broad and deep penetrating arc that's good for thicker materials, and you can turn it clear up to 250 Hertz on this machine. When I do that, I'm going to get a much more focused arc, which is going to be good for welding thinner materials and give me a little bit better control. A good starting point for general work is going to be right around 130 Hertz. Next, I can cycle through to my AC balance. This controls the amount of electrode positive time that I have, so a lower number will give more penetration and a higher number will give more of an etching or cleaning effect. That frosty etched region around the weld will be wider when you have a higher number here, though gas flow also plays into this. So we'll set it right around 25%, which is a good place to start. Now on downslope, I'm going to set that to 0 once again so I can control the whole sequence with the foot pedal, and also go all the way down to 10 amps for stopping. Now on post flow or post gas here, I'll turn this up to 6 seconds, which is going to give enough time to protect that tungsten electrode and keep it from getting contaminated. Now all of the things are set that you need for TIG welding aluminum. These are the basic settings and you can weld just using those. However, there are some additional settings that we'll look at when you press the knob with the gear icon. The first setting which becomes active is the 2T setting up in the top bar. I can change that over to 4T to use a sequencer. However, that requires an optional torch switch. The next is the pulser, so I can turn on pulsing. You can see that added some additional settings down here in the bottom. We'll look at the pulsar in detail when we go over DC TIG welding in a minute, so for now I'll turn it off. Another press of the settings button will move us over to change the AC waveform. That is a trapezoidal wave. It gives a slightly reduced heat input for welding some thinner material and is also a bit quieter. The next over is the square wave. This is going to have the highest heat input for the amount of amperage that the machine is set to. This is really good for driving down into fillet welds and welding on the thicker end of what this machine can do and can give a really nice result. The last waveform is the sinusoidal or sine wave. The sine wave simulates a more traditional transformer type machine. If you're accustomed to welding with that, it can give a slightly softer arc as well as reduce the heat input a little bit. So it can also give a nice result. The most common setting to use for the waveform is going to be the square wave, unless you're welding on thinner material or have a special need. Another press will highlight the spot timer. The spot timer will limit the amount of time that the arc is on after you press the pedal. So with it set here to around 1.4 seconds, I'm going to turn my amperage up a little bit, and this can be really useful for getting a nice consistent tack weld. So I'll just press the pedal all the way down, and it will time and give me the exact same amount of time on each tack weld so that I get a consistent result. Now let's take a look at DC TIG welding. I pressed the home button and then used the wheel on the left to select high frequency DC TIG. After I select that by pressing on the knob, you can see a lot of the same settings that we had before, and once again I can cycle through them by pressing on the knobs to move to the next setting. Now with these selected, I use the knob on the right to adjust them. Once again, because we're using a foot pedal, the upslope, start, and finish are turned all the way down. The one change to make here is I will turn the post gas all the way up to 10 seconds. That will allow a little bit more gas to flow and protect some steel or stainless steel welds that I might have. So there are fewer settings to work with on DC TIG. Now let's press the settings button twice to move over and turn on our pulsar. With the pulsar, there are some additional settings turned on. Peak is your welding current or welding amperage. Width there is your pulse width, and that's basically the percentage of time that you're on your higher amperage. The base current is going to be the number of amps that it will be at when it's not at its peak setting, and so it'll cycle between that higher peak amperage and the amperage that is set here over and over again. Now there are a couple different ways you can do this. This can either be done quickly or slowly, and what adjusts that is the pulse frequency here. So another press of the button takes us to pulse frequency, and I can turn that down really low, less than 1 pulse per second. 0.8 pulses per second will give me a pulse like this that I can use to pace my progression and add a dab of filler metal each time we hit that higher amperage, something like this. Now the other way to use the pulsar is to turn the frequency up to, at least 30 hertz or so, and this just gives you a more focused arc, and it's switching back and forth so quickly that it's not really perceivable, but you do get a finer, more focused arc and a reduced heat input for thicker material. In fact, you can go clear up to 200 Hertz on this to give an even more pronounced effect of that focused arc. Now that we've done some TIG welding with this, let's go ahead and change it over to do a little bit of stick welding with it. Now press the home menu button and then cycle through. There are options for manual metal arc welding or stick welding for DC and AC. We're going to select DC, which is going to be the most common. Now it defaults to your welding current here, which you can adjust with the knob on the right, just like we did the other settings. There are also 4 additional settings that you have here. There is an arc force setting. The arc force setting will increase the amperage when your arc becomes short. Pressing the button again takes us to a hot start time. This is a period of time when your amperage will be higher right when you first start the arc. An additional press will take us to the hot start percentage, or how much the welding amperage will be increased when we first start during that hot start time. The welding current should be set for the type and size of electrode that you're running. However, those other settings will come down largely to personal preference and might take a little bit of experimentation to find exactly what works best for you. Well, that's how to set up and use the Blue Demon Bluearc Genesis 200 LCD with AC and DC TIG as well as stick welding.